We have an excellent agenda today that we will try to get through in a timely order. We've been doing well as of late. Good morning, I'm Steve Elias, Dean of the Cat School of Business. Do we have any visitors with us here today? A first time attendee? All right, you please take a couple seconds to introduce yourself.
Well, I'm Paul Black. I'm running for the Plata County Commissioner. I'm a small business owner out in Bayfield. We own a venue, had that going for about 12 years now. Had a lot of events out there. We used to participate in the chamber and the Y pods quite a bit and just kind of getting back into the realm of it. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other visitors? Yes.
Hi, I'm Steven Cigalito. I'm with Local News Network, and it's my first time here, just trying to get acclimated with the community.
Excellent. Thank you. There also is the clipboard started in the back this time because it usually starts in front and then at the end someone in the back says what happened to the clipboard. So today these people will say what happened. Please sign in. I actually want to take a few seconds just to acknowledge. Oh, we had one. Yeah. Oh, yes.
I'm Sadie. I'm also with Local News Network. My first time.
Welcome. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Thank you for coming, all of our guests. I want to take a couple of seconds. In fact, I'll use my time. Here's my update. We had a board meeting last week. It went well. Now, the rest of my time, I want to acknowledge an old friend of ours, Helen Kadich, who is, you got to stand up and be ready. Helen, a lot of you remember, was our local regional rep for Senator Hickenlooper and did awesome, amazing work, so good of a job that she got poached and is now in DC and is back on vacation. So welcome. You're on vacation and you're in an alliance.
It's been a fun time. It's really fun.
Well, anyway, welcome and thank you for continuing to work on our behalf, DC. So again, please sign the clipboard and we will get rolling. Let's see, our first, another thing to scan. First item is the summit is upon us. In fact, we have no meeting next month, correct? Because we will all be in Ignacio. So please make sure to register if you haven't already. Thank you to our sponsors. Please register if you haven't already, September 19th out at the casino. Our first update is from Lynn Hyde, Community Development Process Review for Community Development Director of La Plata County.
That's good. That's good.
Thank you. Did you have slides?
I did.
And you still do.
All right. Good to see you all this morning. Lynn Hyde, Community Development Director for La Plata County. I've been here before in front of you, but it's been almost a year because I've been with the county for a year now. And one of the things that we always get asked and are always hearing narrative around is the length of time that review takes. And that's because of that, there's a lot of kind of confusion around how long does it take to go through a project. And so what we did was try to dig into the numbers and really understand exactly what's happening, where can we improve, where can we shorten if it's within the county's hands, and where is it our variables outside of our hands. And that's what this presentation is about. I gave this to the Board of County Commissioners a month or two ago, and they thought this might be something that's relevant and interesting to this group. So when we're trying to pull out the numbers, it's really challenging to find data that is digestible and makes sense. And the numbers, so what we found that we have access to are, obviously we have projects submitted versus projects concluded. That's pretty easy, and there's some trends I'll show you over the years, month by month. And then the question about bookends. If I'm an applicant and I want to submit a project, how long does it take from the day I submit to the day that I have a decision? And that depends on the type of review process. So I'll move through this. It's a lot of numbers, but I was laughing with the social media numbers. We're talking, double digits, not hundreds of thousands of followers and viewers, but a different way of looking. And it feels rather old school after hearing social media. But here's what we have. So applications submitted and concluded And we went back to 2022, and there's a few reasons we did that. One being we had a new code come in 2020, so any projects that were started before that are not a comparable metric to look at, and we were really trying to look at where have we been, where are we now, and then where are we hopefully going to be in the future. I recognize that some of these numbers we're gonna look at, we have room to improve. We're hoping to improve. We want to be in a better spot, but this is where we are, and we were trying to really show a true story of where are we and where can we improve. So applications submitted versus concluded on the left is submitted. That's 2022 and 2023. So 265 in 2022. You all would probably be able to tell me why some of the months we saw such high trends. Looking at it, I'm sure there's a lot of finances behind when applications are submitted and concluded. So in 2022, we were concluding projects at a speed faster than they were, quantity greater than they were coming in. In 2023, we saw that's when we had our full, I'd say almost full staff turnover in the planning department. We were down to 3 people in a department that for the planning team that should have 12. So you're gonna see that reflected throughout that in 2023. We kept receiving projects, but they were not going out the door. We were not getting them to conclude it as quickly as we need to be to deliver the customer service that we do want to deliver. This is breaking that down into more granular level of detail month by month. So you'll see January through December. Again, on the dark blue, the furthest left, it goes 2022, 23, then 24. At the time that we pulled this, we only had gone to May. I can tell you the numbers in June, we actually didn't receive as many, and then we were back up in July. So I was curious if we'd see some sort of a more consistent pattern on these. I think that there's more variables than we pulled out to tell us why we received so many, for example, in January of 2022. Then concluded, and I'm happy to come back to these, but I'm gonna move through them rather quickly. So applications concluded, again, like I said, you'll see in 2022, we were moving along, keeping up with the applications we had received. And then in 2023, we did see some pretty low months where we were not pushing projects out as quickly as we need to keep up with the cadence coming in. And I know that it impacts this group, is one of the groups that are really largely impacted when we are not delivering that customer service that we want to see. So I came in this month right there, July of 23 last year, and we have been playing a bit of catch up. And I'd like to say that we're there, we're closer than we were a year ago, but we still have a lot of areas to improve. So what we're looking at doing now, in addition to pulling these metrics, we're also looking at what process or what steps can we remove if they're not producing a superior outcome in the end. A lot of times regulations or process are adopted for the right reasons, and then what we find out is the actual implementation of them may be different than what we expected, and we may have just added more time or more process and not a superior outcome at the end. And that's what we're working on right now. So if you were an applicant wanting to go through, this is the process, and these are 2 areas where you may end up spending more time based on the submittal, but you'll go through feasibility review first. Request a pre-application meeting, and that's the first step that you have to go through before you can submit an application. And these are, I'm talking from boundary adjustment, lot consolidations, minor subdivisions, major subdivisions, what most agencies will call site plans, what we call preliminary plans. That's for all of these. And the reason this is important is because in some spots, the county has control over the timing, and there's areas we can reduce it. And sometimes the ball is in the court of the applicant, and that's not our timing that we control. That might be on the applicants making some decisions on whether they go forward. It's in their consultants. And so trying to break apart those timeframes. This first circle here is for a complete application. So if you require 10 items to move the project forward, we'll keep kicking the project back until we have all 10 items. This second one is what we call compliance. So we've gotten all the 10 items, we send it out for agency review, we're reviewing it. It's gonna keep going through until it meets all the applicable codes and agencies. Those are the 2 that it we often spend more time in really is that compliance review phase. Okay, so this is a precursor for what I'm about to show you because the next graph that you see has a ton of information on it. And before we get there, I want to break down what we're looking at. So you just saw the more journey diagram, and to try and make it more linear to understand, we put it in just a straightforward bar graph. And what you'll see on the next one is each application type broke down into the days that it takes. So 31 days here in blue matches the entered into software pre-app meeting. The logos on the top are when the county has control over the timing and where we can make improvements to make it faster. Where there's not a logo on the top, that's going to be the complete submittal and compliance review. That's where you're going back and forth. We don't control the timing on that, and we cannot necessarily speed up an applicant's consultant or decision-making process. So here's the data, and my staff pulled this, and it took so much effort on them that I really appreciate it. The parsing out the background of our software, they did a tremendous job, in my opinion, making sense of all the data in the background of it. So on the top, you'll have director determination, and then the next is an administrative review. That's a boundary adjustment, lot consolidation. There's a few other things that go through it. An ag plus is a permit type that we have. We haven't seen many of those. Then a minor, that's going to be a minor subdivision, or also we have a process called a sketch plan that goes through the minor process. It's also temporary use permits, and that's, I call that out because I think that's part of the reason we actually saw some quicker turnaround times. And then major, that's going to be a major subdivision, a major plan, if it meets our certain criteria. So on the right side is how long, on average, from the date that an applicant requests a project, which is the blue up there, to a decision. A decision can mean projects approved, projects denied, approved with conditions. It can be withdrawn, voided, expired. So there's a number of different things that can mean, but really our goal is to make sure that we're shortening times to get an applicant to a decision. As we expected in 2023, the areas where the county had the ball in our court were longer. So pre-app is one of those. This is where an applicant sitting and waiting for a pre-application review meeting. That is something where it's the ball's in the county's court, and we're trying to shorten that. Then the next one will be the send out for agency review. And this, again, trying to make sense of the actual touch points that we have and information we have. What my planners did was pulled out how long does it take once we get a complete submittal to our first round of compliance review, because the ball is in our court. And so we're trying to shorten the times where the ball's in our court and figure out ways, again, where we can remove excess process that may be slowing it down without an improved outcome at the end. Yeah.
So from 2023, I see 164 pre-approval to 31 so far this year. Do you attribute that mostly to your staffing changes?
A huge amount, yes. A couple notes on this was pulled in May. I actually will expect these numbers to that looks really, yes, 31,
Yeah.
look how great we did, the percent change, we're awesome. It's probably gonna not be 31 at the end of the year when we go and pull it, because what I mentioned, so temporary use permits go through this process. At the beginning of the year, I think we probably had 6 this year, and to make sure that there's no operating impacts by lack of us reviewing that, we pulled them all immediately. So instead of them waiting longer, they immediately got to a pre-app so they could get through and have their seasonal, because typically our seasonal temporary use permits are from summer.
Okay.
So that looks great. The other thing that happened, well, for admin staffing, but the other thing we did for admin, I think I shared with this group last time, is we cut out the waiting for a pre-app and just said, here's the checklist. If you want to move forward, go for it. You don't have to wait for a checklist. We're trying, so that has helped that one a lot. Staffing and then some process change has helped those. But again, I actually would expect if we pulled this at the end of the year, it's not going to be 17 days. That probably looks better than it's going to be once, because this was just for projects that had made it to that point in 2024. But what we're, again, what we're trying to do is get a baseline, see where we were. We were in 2022, those numbers, that's where we want to get back there and then even. Okay, all right, it's time. There I go. That's it. You said I had 30 minutes? No. Okay, thank you. Let me know if you have any questions or want to say this.
Thank you. Up next, Rosalinda is gonna give us an update on Project Run.
Again, to talk about workforce. So my name is Rosalinda, Linares-Gray, I'm Director of Project Run, and I am super excited to kind of talk to you a little bit about our progress in the last 11 months. Be right here, aren't
Nothing. My eye.
So, as many of you know, we brought together a convening of employers, faculty, subject matter experts last fall to talk about two different really important topics related to workforce in our community. The first was focused on childcare. We realized immediately that was really complicated, and we got a lot of really great ideas for future trainings, and we're still following that thread with the Alliance and the ECC's childcare investment strategy plan that will be coming out in December. We're very hopeful that we'll be able to offer some childcare trainings in the spring. Our second design sprint focused on leadership, and we had a wonderful first cohort of participants in our micro-credentials that we offered this summer. We even have some participants who are here today, like Lindsay, who went through our leadership pool offering. That was a 6-week course offered on Wednesdays. We thought that was a really great timing for employers to kind of let their employees come and work with us. We had facilitators that included both faculty from Fort Lewis, local leadership consultants. We've had guest speakers that have ranged from Eric Eichner, our CEO of Alpine Bank, back to tomorrow, Steve Schwartz, the interim president of Fort Lewis College, will be as guest speaker in our strategy course talking about budgets and operations. So the whole point of these micro-credentials is, again, we're looking at wage progression. We're interested in kind of increasing people's capacity to do good work, be good employees, and support economic growth in our communities. And it's really important for us to think about who might have access to these kinds of opportunities. And so I wanted to give you a short little breakdown of some of the demographics and degree attainment of the participants who we've been working with. We've stated in our grant that our goals are to work with about 60% communities of color. We're about halfway there. About 30 of our participants identify as Black, Indigenous people of color. 30% of our participants, we have 30 participants total across both of those cohorts. And then in terms of degree attainment, because this is something that Fort Lewis is really interested in contributing back to the community, and Fort Lewis understands, and as does the Alliance, as do many of us, that 2-year degree, that 4-year degree doesn't make sense for everyone. So we want to make sure that our opportunities are accessible to those who don't have those credentials. And what's really the thing you want to focus on here is this blue right here. About half of our participants don't have a college degree, and that includes not an associate's, not a 4-year degree. So we really are making that impact and providing those trainings for those who might not otherwise have gone through that educational process. So we're really proud of that. Going forward into, I also want to talk about you as an employer, right? We were very excited to partner with tons of employers in our region. You'll see there's 26 different employers here who have sent participants through our leadership program. So that includes people like Animas Surgical Hospital. It includes people like our other healthcare systems, Southwest Health, Alpine Bank, a lot of different organizations across sort of those key industry sectors that we're interested in targeting because we know they contribute a lot to our economic growth. That includes, like I said, healthcare, finance, utilities, energy. We're also really interested in supporting our small businesses, our nonprofits. We've even talked a lot as participants from the construction industry, which is really great. These kinds of micro-credentials have a lot of impact because they have a lot of employer input. And so going forward into year 2, we want to talk to you a little bit about what we're thinking. So we've had some employer focus groups this summer. We've been talking one-on-one with employers since last fall. And another area that we've seen that we believe that could be really beneficial to upskilling our workforce is this idea of digital literacy. So first of all, what the heck is digital literacy? We need to define that for our community. That can mean different things in different industries, but we know across those, there are some foundational skills that can help our employees be really successful. Having some of these ability to log onto a computer, access their email, do some scheduling, do some calendaring, understanding how to use basic business communication software and things like that. And so what we're interested in doing this fall is partnering with Kopec, who you may have heard of, an amazing, not even startup anymore, but amazing startup that came out of Skate that works with women in tech mostly, but they're really committed, like we are, to the equitable economic outcomes for our community. They were founded in Hesperus, and we'll be working with them to create a new model around curriculum development. So under our leadership micro-credential, we were really focused on customized, building out every single piece of that puzzle for leadership. And for our digital literacy, we understand that those digital skills change. You know, every month there's a new piece of software, a new thing that we're learning about AI. So we want to make sure that we're partnering with the experts, in this case, Kopec, who can provide some online training for our cohorts, and then we'll be developing wraparound skills with our curriculum development team that again will include subject matter experts in our local area and faculty on campus to figure out the skills needed for both that foundational level of digital literacy and those essential skills related to just being a good worker in the workplace. Those essential skills you can also you might characterize those as soft skills, those kinds of things that make you successful. And so we're really excited to invite you as an employer, if you've seen some skill gaps in your organization around what you might define as digital literacy, we're going to define that ourselves as a community. We'd love to invite you to come on Thursday, September 5th from 3:30 to 6:30 right here in this room. If you'd like to join us, you can send me an email at rosalinda@yeslpc.com, or you can just go to our website, projectrunco.work, and fill out the contact form there and say, hey, I want to come and join. Like I said, we're inviting employers, we're inviting faculty, we're inviting subject matter experts. We'll also have some of our potential participants and adult learners present as well. So if you have an employee who you think might have a lot of great ideas about what they want to learn, we'd love to have them come as well, because we want to make sure that we're really focused on human-centered design in this as well. So we're really excited about that. And for those of you who are interested in our second version of leadership, we're going to offer it again in the spring. The dates aren't set, but they will be Wednesday afternoons. We found that to be a successful time. So our first will run 6 weeks, January to February, and our strategy class will run 8 weeks, March through May. So if that's something that you're interested in, you can already start signing up for that. I have a list of people who are already on the wait list. We're able to offer spots to 2 employees per organization, regardless how big your business is. And then the last thing I'll say, if you're still not sure and you want to learn more about what we've done with this leadership micro-credential, we'll be presenting at the morning session of the Alliance Summit. So get your tickets to the summit, come, and you can talk to both me and our lead faculty member from the board about how we develop these, and we're always looking for more ideas and input into it. So thank you so much.
Auction fans. Quick posting.
I'm Ellen Baber, City of Durango Community Events, Mary Shepard with Small Business Development, and we'd like to introduce Katy with The Good Fight. Katy and The Good Fight, if you were here at 4th of July, brought in an amateur boxing outside here in the mall in a ring, and from that has now secured a middleweight title fight, which, if you know any Durango history, that was Jack Dempsey in 1915. That was 109 years ago. So it's a big deal. And because of when the athletes are ready, it's going to happen in October 12th of this year at the fairgrounds. So there is some more information in the back with a sheet that I'd like you to pick up and see, but we are going to tell you some more of it. It's a full day of events, so we'll start at 10 o'clock in the morning or 9 o'clock in the morning. All kinds of different fights. We're ending with the middleweight, and the big deal is that it's pay-per-view. So this is gonna be national exposure for Durango and Plata County. And the casino turned Katy down, which was a blessing for us, so we in the fairgrounds. I'm gonna get Mary to tell you a little bit about the business case for it.
Okay, so obviously you guys know that we have this really cool boxing history. You've seen it on the outside of the ranch. That is a historic marker. So this is an opportunity to kind of bring something back again in the vein of that history. You know, when Katy was offered this, she thought, well, that's a lot to do in a couple months. We know that. But they said basically to her, take it now. It may be a decade or more before this opportunity might be presented to you again. And Katy can tell you, the grandson of Jack Dempsey will be here for this fight. He's coming. He's part of the reason it is coming. I'll let Katy kind of tell the story of how it came to us in a second. But it's gonna be a really cool opportunity. So again, there's going to be a whole day. So there's some opportunities for businesses around the whole day. We're gonna need some support on food and beverage and entertainment, things like that. But I think the other huge opportunity is this is going out to a national market. So we would really love to see we have very little time. October 12th is not very far away. A lot of things have to happen. There's already a little group of people. I've agreed to kind of step in and help, just kind of oversee. We're gonna maybe look at building some budgets around this, but anybody who thinks this is super cool, would like to be involved, whether you're a business or an individual, we're gonna be looking for building up a team. I know Katy's long game in this is to maybe bring a high altitude training facility for boxing to the region. So that is also like getting our name on the map here. Just checking to make sure I'm getting all the Ellens, so jump in.
I'll go into ask so that we keep going. So one, it's a very Durango story. Katy brought in the amateur boxing, walked down to El Rancho and said, do you mind if we take pictures in front of it? And Chris Lyle said, hey, I know this promoter. And so that's how it came to Durango. Here's our ask. If you're a government organization, this is a 501c3, it is a minority owned. Are there funds out there that would help bring this event in? If you're a business, do you want exposure locally, regionally? We've got people coming in from these fights from the Midwest. So we've got exposure Southwest and Midwest, as well as nationally with the pay-per-view. Or individually, do you want to step up and help with some of the logistics or some of the marketing, or maybe your best thing is that you can get other people to give money? This is gonna happen. How it happens is how we will expose Durango. So the more that we as a community step up and help this really go well, then I think it will be a boon, not only for our residents, we'll get to see something that they would have to travel very far away to see, but also for our economic development here in Durango. The last part of it I would want to say is in Colorado, the articles that are in the boxing world is that there is a lot more room for boxing in Colorado. Obviously it's in Pueblo, or maybe you don't know this, but it's in Pueblo and Colorado Springs right now with the Olympic Training Center and with our Olympic athletes that just come back. There's room for growth. I would suggest let's have that growth here and not on the Front Range. So please talk to Katy afterwards, or Mary or I if you're interested, or if you know somebody else that we should contact.
Yeah, this is, I would say I've seen this room a lot fuller at other events. So if you can think of somebody that would normally be here that would have liked to have heard this, please let us know. We'll make outreach. Any questions?
I'm making noise on feedback this meeting, so if you don't see me here, come find me downstairs, guys.
Thank you. Where's Jack? Jack, come talk to us about the Durango Cowboy gathering.
Yeah, first of all, it's not the Durango Cowboy Poetry Gathering, it's the Cowboy Gathering. I have a quick poll too before we get started. How many of you attended the county fair this week? Please raise your hands and keep them up. Okay, keep them up. How many of you were there for 4 hours or more? Okay. How many of you live inside the state limits of Durango, Colorado? Okay, small handful. This is a photo I shot last year of cowboys and cowgirls from all ages across the county. Be representative of our cowboy gathering. And it's been going on for 35 years, must be our 36th year. There's a whole variety of things here. And one of the things that many people don't realize is how many free performances in education and school programs are. We issued about 800 harmonicas to give to school kids, along with lessons and many other activities. So there's just a whole bunch of stuff going on. Big outdoor event is the annual Cowboy Parade. I'm certain most of you have seen that. It starts on Saturday at 10:30 a.m. And like all Durango parades, it lines up over there by the theater, goes down Main Street to 12th, and circles back on 2nd. Well, this year we're gonna add an event called the Horseback Social, since Main Street's closed all morning anyway. And essentially, we're going to fence off Main Street with the snow down barricades, and we're gonna have a horseback ride there for 2 hours. It's called the Horseback Social. And 2nd Avenue is gonna be closed exclusively for horse, truck, and trailer parking, which I can assure you is hugely symbolic to our county residents. And that was actually Chief Brammer's idea. And we're doing that because of, they come in their own little taxis of various sizes and things. And so the street exit, in addition to the Horseback Social on Main Street, this is Ellen Baber's idea, we're having all sorts of exhibits all up and down Main Street that are related to our Western heritage and cowboy lifestyle. And we kind of got a start on this last year when we had a kiting corral. And I was in the parking lot where Grassburgers is there. It was a huge hit with the kids. We also gave free horseback rides to kids for an hour or so on the 700 block of Main. And we got a significant grant from the city lodgers tax this year, which is, this could not happen without that. And it was because we went around and got support from folks all across the county saying, would you please voice support for this? It was just so fulfilling. And you know, where else you gonna see the Bicycle Classic, Snowdown, San Juan Citizens Alliance, and the Cattlemen's Association on the same page saying this is a worthwhile activity, and you're gonna find out in a few minutes why they did that. Farms and ranches was a no-brainer. This is a partial list. We were making our application that's twice that long, if not longer. Basically, you know, we've always had the mission to preserve and celebrate our Western heritage. You know, there's a lot of us that were born and raised here. Our families came here over 100 years ago. They were in the agricultural business. We need to inform all these people who moved in like this, about this part of our community. And personally, you know, we have the snow down in first week of February, bike race over Memorial Day, and the motorcycle rally on Labor Day. Where's the event for the downtown event for our rural neighbor community? But the biggest and most important thing, especially for me personally, is to build understanding, friendship, and respect between these communities. Okay, because there's some division right now. Okay, and basically, some of our rural neighbors, they don't feel welcome to be here, quite honestly. But they feel like they're part of Durango. They shop here, go to school here. Many of them have their second job here, or their spouse works here, and hometown pride. I've only lived a small portion of my life actually inside the city limits. I've always considered this my hometown, no matter where I went. And these people that have been here for generations, they feel like they're the founders of this community, and they were and are. But they feel like they've been dismissed. I'm not saying they have been, I said they feel that way. And this demonstrates it. This is the county fair on Wednesday night. Take a good look at that picture. There's 100 stories in this picture. But I'll tell you one thing, nobody, the city of Durango, drove their horse, truck, and trailer down here. All those trailers and trucks you see, those are participants. So I know it makes you feel good to hear this is where city meets country. It doesn't happen. A handful of city people get down there. Because first of all, you can't. There's no place to park. Nobody accidentally stumbles across the county fair to learn about our rural relatives. You have to purposefully go there. And that's why we want to move this. It's not the same as the fair, but we're putting it right smack dab in the middle of downtown. Furthermore, absolutely no politics, no political messaging in any way, shape, or form whatsoever. Paul, you can go down there and ride your horse in the parade like I did. Don't you dare put on a campaign.
No problem.
But anyway, this is a place to be face to face with people. When you have a baby, a dog, or a horse, no one walks up and asks you how you voted. You get along with each other. And this is what we hope to really emphasize as a community building event, because our county needs this, our country needs this. So I'm here on bended knee saying, please support this. And what's gonna make this successful, participation on 3 levels. One is, if you're city, urban, whatever, please show up and watch. It should be like snow down. You should get here hours early so you can get a good space to watch. As opposed to like, maybe I can get an hour out of my time and go down there, okay? If you're a country resident, especially have a horse, show up. If you're in the part of the Cattlemen's Association, the Farm Bureau, have a booth. You know, we're working with a lot of people to do this sort of stuff, okay? And if you're a business owner, please participate, whether it's just telling your employees, telling your friends. We need volunteers. We still need some help financially. You know, we have a number of wonderful sponsors been here for years. I can't go through the list, but it's largely on the generosity of their heart versus realizing the true nature of this. If you have employees that can volunteer, if your company could buy a few tickets to the performances and either use them yourself or give them to your employees, please help us establish something that we will all benefit from. So anyway, you can tell I'm pretty damn emotional about this, and I hope you will be too, because we need good news right now. And by the way, the irony of this, or the coincidence, is this is going to take place exactly 1 month before the election. Exactly. And we all, I think, should set an example of what it means to love your neighbor. Thank you.
Doug, come on up.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for, I want to thank Jack. Jack came to our first Friday kind of planning event way back in January. He told us about his idea for the Cowboy Gathering, and we're really glad to know that because we're going to try to theme our first Friday in October around this event as well. I think it's Cowboy Mosey. Is that what it is, Jack? So really appreciate that. I'm really honored to introduce to you Rich Cimino. I got his name right. He is the new executive director of Peak Health Alliance, who Local First has been partnering with now for 4 years. Together, we have saved $6 million in the cost of living and healthcare for this region, the 5 counties of Southwest Colorado. And we're really, that's one of the biggest things that we feel, that impact that we have made. And Rich is going to tell you about the plans for the coming year.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Plata County Development Alliance. I'm not here to sell anything. Please, you guys, your business owners, your employees, your families, get the best health insurance plan that's best for you. If it's not one of ours, that's fine. And I trust the brokers. Brokers always guide their clients to what's best for them, and so it'll work out. But I am here to have you get to know us, what we're about, because we're about a lot more than just health insurance. And getting to know us, a bit about my background. I graduated from the Air Force Academy in 1994. I did 21 years in the Air Force as an intelligence officer, deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan in 2004, which is very fortunate because it was right after we kind of conquered those countries, but before it got real hot. So I was very lucky in that regard. And I'm gonna brag a little bit real quick. I have 3 children. My oldest is a dental student in Denver. My middle child is a water scientist in Grand County, where I live. And my youngest is a computer scientist for the School of Mines. And he's on the football team, and I know I'm in Fort Lewis territory, and I love Fort Lewis, but I think Colorado should really pick up their game when it comes to Division II athletics. We got 6 great schools across the state, and that needs to be brought up a little more. But I'm not here to talk about rates or plans specifically. I'll be back in October, and we'll talk more about that. But this is just getting our background and me kind of observing the community, getting to know you, getting to know us. I was here in June. I was here at this meeting in June, and tourism was just ramping up a little bit. I got here yesterday, and good Lord, you guys are being overrun, which I guess is a good thing right now, but the tourists are here. We, what are we? We are a healthcare purchasing coalition. That is a thing. We're the only active healthcare purchasing coalition in the state of Colorado. Denver tried to start one up, and it didn't quite make it. Eagle County tried to start one up, they didn't quite make it. We're active in 9 counties now. I really thank Local First for helping us be successful here. We are a 501c3 healthcare purchasing coalition. We are owned by our members and individual marketplace, as well as some self-insured organizations. We have about 4,000 members now, and we hope to grow. We're licensed and regulated by the state. We operate independently.
And we're not a third-party administrator, TPA, we're not an insurance company, we're not a medical provider, doctor or hospital. We work with all three of those entities very closely. We're just right smack dab in the middle, doing one thing, representing our members. Hospitals, they have lobbyists. Insurance companies, they have lobbyists. Patients, citizens, y'all ain't got no lobbyists. We are your lobbyists, we are your advocates, and we're trying to make the system better, and we got a lot of work to do. A little bit about our history. If you're in the healthcare industry in Colorado, you know that 2014 was a big year. The legislature formally funded a big study, and they discovered some staggering numbers. We're here in La Plata County, we're here in the Western Slope. All the western half of Colorado was just staggeringly more expensive for healthcare back in 2014, and it still is today. We've taken some steps already. 32% higher than Denver metro area. And mental health, good Lord, 2020, COVID, we all learned kind of mental health, how important it is, how much of a struggle it is. But even back in 2014, we saw signs about how much in trouble it is. 260% costs for mental health in the Denver metro area. I want to talk about the 11 geographic rating areas to 9. If everybody got to breakfast, have some more time together, that's a significant thing I'd like to talk about, but we'll skip over for now. But in November 13, 2017, a publication called 538 did an article titled The Healthiest State in the Country. Oh, misspelling. Country. I'm a county commissioner. I always type county, so I'm gonna call country. We're here, was here in Western Colorado. And so in Summit County, they had some community leaders that said, BS, this is wrong, we're gonna fix it. And I don't know if any of my board members are here. I have 2 board members that live in Durango. I probably shouldn't type that the Summit Foundation just threw money at a problem, but they did. They threw money at a problem. And so they created eHealth Alliance, and we partnered with an insurance company. It was Bright Health. They went out of business, as you all know. And now we're with Denver Health Medical Plan. So they're our insurance company partner. We get rate sheets with hospitals, with doctors, with mental health providers that are a little bit lower. These are for the workers, this is for the tourism industry and the local community. So they pay, they agree to charge a little bit less, the health insurance is more cheaper. We also do a lot of advocacy, we help with legislation, and we just help try to educate and inform people. So hopefully we'll be alive a long time and here active, and I welcome, I'll be coming back in October, and we'll just see how successful we are. It's a challenge, but we can talk to you after the meeting, and thank you for the time. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Move on to our government updates, starting with Mark from Ignacio. No, Mark from Ignacio.
All right.
Clark.
I'm a really poor substitute for March, but I'll try my best. First of all, you guys might not know, I sit on the Plata County Planning Commission, and I want to say, Lynn, I think you've had a very positive impact over the last year, so you deserve a round of applause. What's happening in Ignacio? Well, in a little over 2 weeks, we're going to have our 8th annual Green Chili Festival. So I know everybody is going to say yes, because that's locally grown green chilies outside of in the Allison area. We'll be roasting those. We'll have 2 live bands, Jackson Mountain Ramblers out of Pagosa and Vinyl Lust, who I'm sure you guys have heard are one of our local groups. So they'll be out there. Saturday is pretty much an all-day thing. Come enjoy that. That's the 31st. Housing. We always talk about Ignacio housing. We actually placed an order for 10 units with Fading West a week ago. They're in production as we speak. Amazing process. We've learned so much. Hopefully we'll be able to put together a game plan for other communities to be able to do what we're doing. It's been an amazing learning experience. We should probably have a 15-minute presentation on what we learned about housing and how we're executing in Ignacio. But want to let you know we're moving forward with that. Other than that, great day.
Alexis from Bayfield. Going once. Sold. I know Dave's here. Yep. Dave from City of Durango.
Rainbow looks kind of like the same shirt, but it's not. I just like polka dots. Back by popular demand, I know you all love Jessica, but 2 months in a row, it's called a trend. Dave Woodruff, City of Durango. Got a couple of things going on, trying to make it quick. The city of Durango has received a $20,000 grant from the National League of Cities to further efforts in promoting economic mobility and entrepreneurship. The primary focus of that is the partnership between between the city of Durango and the Plata Food Equity Coalition. And a lot of recognition needs to go to Priscilla Newbold. I had the fortune of working with her over at 11th Street Station. She owns both Love and Juice and Cafe and More. So she, kind of was in the process of getting both of those businesses off the ground, and she knew how challenging it could be, especially for bilingual community members. And so she's going above and beyond to be the bilingual business navigator. So a lot of kudos go to her, and she's helped over 20 individuals thus far. With those economic mobility funds, we're hoping to achieve outcomes by the end of January of next year. Part of that is expanding bilingual navigation services, using seed funds to assist at least 3 new businesses, including 2 food businesses and 1 childcare business. And then application for seed funding is open until August 25th, so coming up here quick. And you can also email Tommy Crosby, who's just right over there, if you have any other questions or would like to apply for some of those seed funds. The city of Durango still has funding available for the Renew Grant Program. Again, that is a matching 1-to-1 grant up to $5,000 for improvements to properties which are visible from the public right of way. So please sign up for that and apply for the grant if possible. We also have a CAS meeting, so Colorado Association of Ski Towns. That's going to be here at the end of the month. So we're going to have a bunch of both elected and city officials from across the state, especially, ski towns. We have a lot of commonality with some of those communities. And so it'd be good to kind of get on the same page of what's affecting them, what's affecting us, now to all navigate those things. And then we also have a Downtown's Next Step forum here on August 27th at 8 a.m. So that is an important concept for you guys, then please come and voice your opinion there. So thank you.
Was unable to join us this morning, so we will move right into Sarah's executive director update.
Thank you. I'll be very quick. I know everybody has survey fatigue, but please, we need you to take this survey on childcare. As you all know, we have partnered with the city of Durango and received a READY grant, as well as partnered with the Childhood Council of the Plata County and received a FUEL grant. And the reason for that is because we have employers who have told us we cannot recruit, we cannot retain employees. We are very challenged with childcare. So we are creating a strategic investment plan like what we did for workforce housing a couple of years ago. So it's really important for us to understand the need and what your organization can do or is willing to do about it for us to create solutions around this issue. So there is a flyer in the front. You can grab that. You can grab this QR code. Please take a moment to do that. We are doing some employer focus groups as well. If you're interested in that, please let me know. Another flyer that you'll find over there is the new AMI charts. If you're interested in understanding our home ownership and rental issues, this AMI chart really pulls it out for you. So this is, again, something we do in partnership with the Regional Housing Alliance of La Plata County, as well as HUD, CHAFA, and Homes Fund as well, to get to these numbers that are very localized. And then our third flyer that I wanted to talk about is the Housing Catalyst Fund. It's a nice one-pager demonstrating the work that we've done with this pre-development fund. Since its launch, we have invested $517,000 into 11 projects that are that will result and has resulted in 464 below market units in La Plata County. So we will be doing some fundraising for the Catalyst Fund moving forward after the summit. And don't forget the summit. It's coming up September 19th at Skyview Casino. And if you sponsor, you receive some tickets too. So think about sponsorship if you haven't already. And that's all I have for you today. We have no meeting in September because everybody's going to be at the summit, right? So we'll be back here in October. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate your time. We appreciate your time. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of the summer, and I'll see you at the summit. Thanks, Sarah.